Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Tanvi Taneja, and with me is Anita Anand with the Midday News. The headlines. Discussion on the union budget underway in Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha to resume discussion in the afternoon. Former Union Minister and Trinamool Congress MP Dinesh Trivedi announces resignation in Rajya Sabha. Election Commission reviews poll preparedness in Puducherry. Chief Election Commissioner says all efforts will be made to ensure free and fair assembly elections. Over 75 lakh people administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.32%. India's first ever CNG tractor to be launched today. And Indian film Bittu shortlisted in Oscars live action short film category. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin this bulletin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focusing on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Rajya Sabha resumed the discussion on union budget today. Participating in the discussion, Minister of State for Finance Anurag Thakur termed the budget as a document aimed at fulfilling aspirations of the people. He said every strata of society has welcomed the budget. Mr. Thakur said the continuous uphill trajectory of the Indian stock markets since the presentation of the union budget marks its stamp of approval to the growth-oriented policies of the centre. He said the NDA government has displayed its commitment towards development of farmers and workers in the country.
ये हिंदुस्तान के किसानों की आय को दुगना करने के लिए इस कानून को लाया गया है और हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं। हिंदुस्तान के किसानों की आय को दुगना करके छोड़ेंगे। धान की खरीद इन्होंने 63,000 करोड़ की हमने 1,72,752 करोड़ की इन्होंने कपास की खरीद मात्र 90 करोड़ की लेकिन मोदी सरकार में खरीद 25,974 करोड़ की हुई। दलहन के लिए 235 करोड़ इन्होंने खर्च किए तो हमने 10,530 करोड़ 40 गुना से ज्यादा खर्च किया। कहाँ लिखा है कि एमएसपी बंद होगा? किसी कृषि कानून में कहीं पर भी लिखा है कि मंडी बंद होगी या एमएसपी बंद होगा? अरे देश के गरीब किसान को, भोले भाले किसान को अपनी राजनीति के लिए इस्तेमाल मत कीजिए। ये किसान की आय को दुगना करने का काम हमने लिया है, करके छोड़ेंगे। आप जितना मर्जी भ्रमित कीजिए, हम हिंदुस्तान को आगे लेकर जाएंगे, आत्मनिर्भर बनाएंगे।
Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi of the BJP lauded the budget, saying that it lays out the fiscal plan of the government in the most transparent manner. Taking part in the discussion, Congress leader Shakti Singh Gohil and Dipinder Singh Hooda termed the budget as anti-farmer. The discussion is on. The finance minister will reply to the discussion in a short while from now. The Lok Sabha will also resume the discussion on the budget in the afternoon today. The Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021 is scheduled to come up for consideration and passage in the lower house today. Former Union Minister and Trinamool Congress MP Dinesh Trivedi has announced his resignation from Rajya Sabha. Dinesh Trivedi told in Rajya Sabha that he is resigning his MP post and wants to work for the upliftment of Bengal as he is feeling suffocated in the Trinamool Congress party.
असल में हम जन्मभूमि के लिए ही है और कुछ नहीं, और मुझसे ये देखा नहीं जा रहा कि हम करें तो क्या सीमित है। एक पार्टी में है तो पार्टी की डिसिप्लिन है, मगर मुझे अब थोड़ी घुटन महसूस होती। मेरी आत्मा की आवाज आज ये कह रही है, और वो स्वामी विवेकानंद जो कहते थे, अराइज अवेक एंड स्टॉप नॉट टिल द गोल इज रीच। तो आज मुझे आत्मा ये कह रही है कि यहाँ बैठे बैठे यदि आप चुपचाप रहो और कुछ नहीं कह सकते हो, उससे अच्छा है कि यहाँ से आप त्याग पत्र दो और जाके बंगाल की भूमि में इसके लिए मैं आज यहाँ से इस्तीफा दे रहा हूँ।
The first leg of the budget session of Rajya Sabha will conclude today. The upper house will have an extended sitting till 3 p.m. The sitting for tomorrow is cancelled. The session was earlier scheduled to conclude on Monday. The upper house will resume in the second leg on the 8th of next month.
Rural Development Minister Narendra Singh Tomar today said whenever demand in MG-Narega is created, efforts are made to meet the demands. Replying to a question in the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Tomar said after the surge in demand in MG-Narega, the budget has been enhanced. He said in the current fiscal, out of the total allocation of over 1,11,000 crore rupees under the scheme, nearly 90,000 crore rupees have already been disbursed to the states.
इस वर्ष जो महिलाओं के काम का प्रतिशत है वो निश्चित रूप से 52% है और इस बार मनरेगा में रिकॉर्ड काम हुआ है। 330 मानव दिवस लगभग सृजित हुए हैं।
In reply to another question, Minister of State Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti said during COVID-19 migrant labourers would not have got work had it not been for MG-Narega. She said there has been no proposal by the centre to increase 100 work days under MG-Narega. She said the states can increase the man days and informed that Kerala and 2 other states have already done it. Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Ministry MSME has informed that more than 1 crore 2 lakh MSMEs were registered in the country within 5 years. In a written reply in the Lok Sabha, MSME Minister Nitin Gadkari said that as per Udyog Aadhaar portal, a total of 1 crore 2 lakh 32,468 MSMEs were registered between 2015 to June 2020. He said the MSME Ministry has implemented various other schemes for the growth and development of MSME sector in the country. He added that the government has taken a number of initiatives under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan to support the MSME sector in the country, especially in COVID-19 pandemic. Union Railway Minister Piyush Goyal today informed the Rajya Sabha that there has been no passenger deaths in the country due to train accidents in the last 22 months. Replying to a question, Mr. Goyal informed that the Railways is adopting modern safety technology devices to enhance the safety of its passengers. He said Railways has been given special emphasis under the current government as Prime Minister Narendra Modi shares a special relationship with it and believes that development of railway infrastructure has the potential to achieve far-reaching results in the lives of many countrymen.
More than 75 lakh people have been administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. The Union Health Ministry said India was fastest to cross the 70 lakh vaccination mark. In the last 24 hours, more than 4,87,000 healthcare workers were vaccinated. The number of beneficiaries being vaccinated every day is showing progressive increase. The total cumulative vaccination coverage includes over 58 lakh healthcare workers and over 16 lakh frontline workers. 10 states and union territories have vaccinated 69% of the total beneficiaries. Uttar Pradesh alone accounts for 10.2% of the total beneficiaries. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country has improved to 97.32%. The Health Ministry said in the last 24 hours, 15,858 people were discharged. With this, 1,05,89,230 people have recovered from COVID-19. In the last 24 hours, 9,309 new COVID-19 cases and 87 deaths were reported. Total cases now has reached 1,08,80,603. The death toll has touched 1,55,447. The active cases in the country now stand at 1,35,926.
In Uttar Pradesh, 1,721 COVID vaccination sessions were organized for frontline workers in all the districts yesterday. More from our Lucknow correspondent.
A total of 1,01,454 frontline workers were vaccinated yesterday against the target of 2,07,382 frontline workers. Immunization sessions are being held today also for the frontline workers. In this campaign, police personnel, home guards, civil defense, sanitization workers, staff of revenue department, paramilitary forces, including others, are being vaccinated. Senior police officers, district magistrates and sub-divisional officers are also being given dose. According to health department, all the vaccine beneficiaries are safe and healthy. The second dose today immunized beneficiaries will be given on March 16th. The upcoming session of vaccination of frontline workers will be held on 18th of February. MS Yadav, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Bihar, 448,446 healthcare and frontline workers have been vaccinated so far in the state. Health Minister Mangal Pandey said the vaccination for healthcare workers ended in the state and a final mop-up exercise for the left-out beneficiaries will be done tomorrow. Meanwhile, COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 99.15% in Bihar. 259,347 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the state so far. The number of active cases is continuously declining. Currently, only 699 patients are receiving treatment at various hospitals. No positive case has been reported from 24 districts out of 38 of the state.
In West Bengal, schools reopened today for classes 9th to 12th. Teachers and students are a bit concerned regarding attending classes due to the strike called by the left parties today against the alleged police atrocities on their supporters. More from our Kolkata correspondent.
While some schools are starting with the pre-boards, practical and revision classes for 10 and 12, few others are focusing on class 12 practicals only. As per the guideline issued by the State Education Department, isolation rooms are in place as classrooms and toilets will be thoroughly sanitized on regular basis. While in school, everyone has to wear face mask all the time and use sanitizer. Maintaining social distancing is a must as assembly for prayers or sharing tiffin are not allowed. Parents need to submit consent forms to send the pupils back to classes after more than 10 months. Madhu Parnadhaur Chaudhary, AIN News, Kolkata.
Meanwhile, no major untoward incident has been reported so far in West Bengal during the ongoing 12-hour strike called by the left parties. The overall situation is peaceful, though people had to suffer due to the rail and road blockade by supporters of the strike. In Kolkata, leaders of the Congress and the left parties have taken part in rallies in support of the strike against alleged police atrocities on their supporters during the march to the State Secretariat yesterday, demanding employment and industrialization. Adequate security arrangements have been taken in view of the strike.
The Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora wrapped up meetings with senior officials and representatives of political parties in the Union Territory of Puducherry today, along with other ECI colleagues. The ECI team held discussions with the Chief Secretary, DGP and other election-related regulatory agencies today and reviewed the poll preparedness for the forthcoming assembly elections. Apart from the security cash for vote issues, the political parties in the Union Territory urged the ECI to hold the election on the same day along with Tamil Nadu and Kerala, since they shared a part of the Union Territory. Puducherry, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, West Bengal and Assam are likely to go to polls in April or May. The Chief Election Commissioner met the media this afternoon. He said he had met officials and representatives of political parties in Puducherry and noted their views on the upcoming assembly polls. He assured that all efforts will be made to ensure safe, free and fair polls in Puducherry and other states where assembly elections are due.
In Assam, Finance Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma presented the interim budget in the Assembly today before the state goes to polls. He said the vote on account of over 60,700 crore rupees for a period of 6 months has been sought to fulfill obligatory and other necessary aggregate expenditure, and general budget will be placed well before September 30th, 2021. The minister announced that additional cess of 5 rupees imposed on petrol and diesel during COVID-19 period will be withdrawn from midnight today. Also, additional cess imposed on various liquor categories during last year, averaging around 25%, has also been withdrawn. And now, we go over live to the proceedings of Rajya Sabha, where Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman is making a statement on the Union Budget.
Growth and reform. So these three things are essentially infused in the budget, which is now speaking for itself in the sense it is the instrument through which Atmanirbhar Bharat is to be attained. So post-pandemic and post-global contraction, economies have suffered all over the world, and as I said during my budget speech, the attempt made in this budget is to provide stimulus, provide a strong stimulus, and provide such a stimulus which can bring in that kind of a multiplier effect and therefore instead of finding quick short-term solutions, even as we provide short-term, quick relief for those people who so desperately need it, we are looking at also medium-term, long-term, sustainable growth, which will keep India in that kind of a growth trajectory, which will maintain us as one of those fastest growing economies in the world. So, government has heard views, opinions, suggestions from experts, from various policy makers around in the country, economists from several parts of the country and also some from outside, and then placed all the thoughts together to produce this budget which has been tabled in the House. Building an Atmanirbhar Bharat actually reflects the aspiration of the people of India, 130 crore people of India, many of whom, 2/3 of whom are youth who are looking for opportunities, looking for dignified ways in which they can live their lives, contribute towards building of this country, and therefore are looking not merely for just assistance from government but also facilitation and building of such ecosystems with which they can contribute to the economy. So the stimulus is for revival and systemic reforms that even during the pandemic that the Prime Minister has taken up. And those reforms are the ones which are going to sustain the growth, sustain ease of doing business, and sustain India as the leader in terms of entrepreneurial skills. And therefore, the blend of looking at stimulus provision and also not losing out on the opportunity that we can derive, even.
That was the Finance Minister making a statement in Rajya Sabha on the Union Budget.
You're listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Discussion on Union Budget underway in Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha to resume discussion in the afternoon. Former Union Minister and Trinamool Congress MP Dinesh Trivedi announces resignation in the Rajya Sabha. Election Commission reviews poll preparedness in Puducherry. Chief Election Commissioner says all efforts will be made to ensure free and fair assembly elections. Over 75 lakh people administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.32%. India's first ever CNG tractor to be launched today. And Indian film Pittu shortlisted in Oscars live action short film category. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Midday News. India's first ever CNG tractor will be launched today. The CNG tractor will help farmers to increase their income by lowering costs and help to create job opportunities in rural India. The conversion from diesel to CNG engine of the tractor was jointly done by Romat Techno Solutions and Tomasetto Ashil India. Our correspondent reports that CNG is the future as 12 million vehicles are powered by natural gas throughout the world, and more companies and municipalities are joining the CNG movement every day. We have a report.
The most important benefit for the farmer will be to save more than 1 lakh rupees annually on fuel costs. This will help them to improve their livelihood. The farmers can save up to 50% of the fuel cost as the current diesel prices are around 77 rupees per litre, whereas CNG is only 42 rupees per kilogram. The conversion from diesel to CNG will be beneficial as it is a clean fuel with low carbon and pollutant content. It is also economical and is non-corrosive, non-dilutive and non-contaminating, which helps in increasing the life of the engine. India is committed towards combating climate change at the highest level through its several programs and schemes. The stubble can be used as a raw material for producing bio-CNG, which will help the farmers to earn money by selling it to the bio-CNG production units in their locality. With Dipendra Kumar, Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
In Uttarakhand, rescue and search operation for the 25 to 35 people still trapped inside the tunnel is continuing for the fourth consecutive day. Till date, 37 bodies have been recovered and around 167 people are still reported to be missing. AIR correspondent covering the calamity at Ground Zero reports that the increasing water level of the Dhauli Ganga river is suspending the rescue operation at periodic intervals.
After release of the water from the temporary lake, which has been formed at the upper heights of Himalayas, the level of Dhauli Ganga river has increased. Formation of lake is also a big concern for administration. Talking to AIR News, senior geologist and Professor Y.P. Sundaryal of the Hemwati Nandan Bahuguna Garhwal University informed about the lake formation at the origin of Son river, which meets into Rishi Ganga. He said that this information has been conveyed to the administration and the water of the lake has to be released urgently.
ग्लेशियर जो है वो मिट्टी, पत्थर और बर्फ का कॉम्बिनेशन होता है। अब जब बर्फ गलती है, लोग जो ग्लेशियर को पीछे हटना बोलते हैं, उसमें सिर्फ ये होता है कि बर्फ गल के पीछे चली जाती है और आग अपना मलबा छोड़ जाती है। तो वो मलबा अगर आता है नदी के साथ और फिर उसका ग्रेडियंट बहुत हाई है, हाई एनर्जी इन्वायरमेंट है, तो उसने फिर जो है ये सारी तबाही मचाई। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी चिंता ये है कि जो डैम हुआ है ऋषि गंगा, उसमें जल्दी उसका पानी निकाला जाए, कम रहेगा, लेकिन अगर वो अपने आप टूटती है तो ये आपदा बहुत बड़ी हो सकती है।
Meanwhile, a helicopter carrying scientists of DRDO and technical team of NDRF conducted the survey on the upper Himalayan region where lake formation is being reported. DRDO scientists are analyzing the data regarding the flow and volume of the water at the lake. With Raghvesh Pandey in Dehradun, this is Sushil Chandra Tiwari for AIR News, Tapovan, Chamoli.
Short film Bid 2 is shortlisted in top 10 films under live action short film category for 93rd Oscar Awards. Indian filmmakers Shriya and Karishma Dev Dubey are producers and directors of this film. Speaking exclusively to AIR, Karishma expressed happiness for nomination and said she is hoping for Best in Academy Awards. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
The Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences recently announced shortlist in 9 categories for 93rd Academy Awards. For the short film category, it has received 174 films, out of which Academy has selected 10 films. Bid 2 is one of the shortlisted films. While talking to AIR, film director Karishma Dev Dubey said it is a story of two school-going girls. We have already won silver medal in the students category of Academy Awards in 2020 for this film. Now, for the main Oscar Awards, Academy will vote to finalize the winner. So, we will continue a publicity campaign and increase the visibility of film. On question when Indian audience can watch this film, she said, we are working to bring this to Indian audience as soon as possible. Karishma's family stays in Delhi. She has completed her schooling in Dehradun and undergraduate studies in St. River College, Mumbai. She is graduated from New York University with MFA in Writing and Direction. Her sister Shreya studied photography from Melbourne and films in Paris. Jivan Bhavsar, AIR News, Mumbai.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today paid tributes to Swami Dayanand Saraswati on his birth anniversary. Dayanand Saraswati, a great thinker and a social reformer, was the founder of Arya Samaj.
In news from the Australian Open now, 6th seed Alexander Zverev crushed Adrian Mannarino with little fuss today to coast into the Australian Open 4th round. The German, a semi-finalist last year who is gunning for a maiden Grand Slam title, turned in an accomplished performance en route to a routine 6-3, 6-3, 6-1 win in just 1 hour 43 minutes. Zverev is looking to become the youngest Grand Slam singles champion since Novak Djokovic won the title at the Melbourne Park in 2011. He will next meet either Serbian 23rd seed Dusan Lajovic or Spain's Pedro Martinez. The Australian Open will be allowed to continue, but without crowds for at least 5 days after the Victoria State Government imposed a lockdown starting tomorrow in response to a COVID-19 outbreak at a quarantine hotel. Victoria Premier Daniel Andrews today announced a 5-day statewide lockdown starting a minute before midnight local time. He said the Australian Open could continue because these people are at their workplace. The tournament was the first Grand Slam tournament in a year to allow sizable crowds.
The United States has announced a series of executive actions against the military, government and organizations associated with Feb 1st coup in Myanmar. The U.S. Department of the Treasury announced sanctions against 10 individuals and 3 entities connected to the military coup in Myanmar. All property owned directly or indirectly by these individuals and entities in the U.S. have been blocked. The U.S. government also announced it is implementing restrictions on the exports of sensitive items to Myanmar Ministry of Defense, Home Affairs, Armed Forces and Security Forces. The Sensex and Nifty today logged modest gains in intraday trade amid mixed global cues. The BSE Sensex was trading 95 points or 0.18% up at 51,626 and NSE Nifty added 17 points or 0.11% to trade 15,190. At the forex market, the rupee also appreciated 7 paise to 72 rupees and 79 paise against the US dollar.
The Mughal Gardens at Rashtrapati Bhavan will be opened for the general public from tomorrow. The gardens will remain open till 21st of March and people can visit between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. except on Mondays. As precautionary measures, walk-in entry will not be available this year. Visitors will be allowed to see the gardens only through advanced online booking. Visitors have to follow COVID-19 protocols. Entry and exit for all visitors will be from gate number 35 of the President's estate. The President's Secretariat has requested visitors not to bring any water bottles, briefcases, handbags, ladies' purses, cameras, and so on. The News Services Division of All India Radio in its bilingual live phone-in program tonight will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. This can be heard on the FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. onwards. Dr. Prasann Panda from AIIMS Rishikesh will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the expert on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. One can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel, News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for regular updates.
Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. National capital Delhi will have shallow fog. Minimum temperature recorded was 10 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 27 degrees. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky. Temperature will be between 21 and 32 degrees Celsius. Chennai had fog or mist in the morning and will see a partly cloudy sky later in the day. The temperature will fluctuate between 21 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata saw fog in the morning and will have partly cloudy sky later. Minimum temperature was 16 degrees while maximum may go up to 29 degrees. Jammu will see a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature in the city was 10 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 23 degrees. Srinagar will see mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature in city was -1 degree Celsius while it is expected to rise up to around 14 degrees Celsius. Leh will see a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature was -9 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 5 degrees. Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between -2 and 17 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will vary from 6 to 24 degrees Celsius. Dehradun will see temperature rising from 10 degrees to 26 degrees. Chandigarh will see generally cloudy sky. The temperature is likely to hover between 11 and 27 degrees Celsius. In Guwahati, the minimum temperature was 13 degrees and the maximum will be around 29 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Discussion on union budget underway in Rajya Sabha. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman makes a statement in the House. Lok Sabha to resume discussion in the afternoon. Former Union Minister and Trinamool Congress MP Dinesh Trivedi announces resignation in the Rajya Sabha. Election Commission reviews poll preparedness in Puducherry. Chief Election Commissioner says all efforts will be made to ensure free and fair assembly elections. Over 75 lakh people administered COVID-19 vaccine in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.32%. India's first ever CNG tractor to be launched today, and Indian film Bittu shortlisted in Oscar's live action short film category. And with that, we end the midday news.